The magical mystery tour portion of the afternoon. So, how long is your sword?
36 inches.
Anyone else?
36.
34.
This long? No.
As long as you want it to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your sword is as long as from your tip of your sword to the core of your body, and as short as from the tip of your sword to your two fingers that are gripping it. Right? It all depends on how you present it.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, for most of us, when we're hitting our opponent, our sword's length is actually from our elbow to the tip of our swords. So hold your sword like this, which you can almost never do until you're actually at the end of your power stroke, and feel where the balance point is. What you think is the balance point is not what it actually is. For most of us, like that, the balance point actually sucks in a bit because the arm is part of the sword, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, hold it loose by your thumb and forefinger, iron ring, I heard some of you call that.
Ring.
Now where's the balance point? It's out here, right? Balance point in your sword is not static. You never hold your sword like that. So the spot that you think is your balance point, not really. It's going to be anywhere from about, I can bring it out to about there. I can bring it back to about here. And that all has to do with angles, where you're holding it and what it's doing. So, there's two ways to move the balance point. Well, first off, and this is probably self-evident, who here has studied Archimedes? Right? Lever and fulcrum, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what a sword is. The lever and a fulcrum. It's very, very easy to rotate your sword around the balance point. Put your sword on your hand, without your other hand, and with just minimal effort, you can rotate it in any direction, right? Super, super easy to rotate your sword around each balance point. It's a natural fulcrum. Well, if you can adjust your sword's balance point, that means you can adjust what you can rotate it around, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, if I want my blow, if I'm throwing a blow, and I was going to go here, and I change my mind, and I want it to go there, I'll rotate around the balance point to get to there. That's basically what a Molinet does. You're rotating it around the balance point. Well, you can change the balance point. Put your sword and go like this. Feel that shift? You feel that?
Mm-hmm.
It's moving from about here to about here. Now, in the midst of that, start rotating it around the balance point. You feel how sometimes your blade's doing this, sometimes your blade's doing this. Some of you are saying, yeah, and others are going, huh? So, this requires a real feel for your sword. The easiest way to feel it is when you're doing this. You can feel, when you come down this way, you can feel the weight shifting down into your hand. If you go this way, you can feel it shifting over here. Feel that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Got it? Yeah? Okay. So, when I'm here, when my balance point is in my hand, I can go all over the place, right? Really easily.
Mm-hmm. You get smaller circles as you go. It wants to naturally be smaller.
Well, it's not that it wants to be, it's that it's easier for it to be.
Okay.
Because your hand, which is the thing you're controlling it with, and your balance point are right near each other.
Gotcha.
So you can make those circles any size you want them to be. Whereas when your balance point is out here, you got to move the heck out of your hands to rotate around that balance point. Yeah. So now put your sword like this. Work your way out the balance point, and you work your way back in. Feel it? Most of you, yes, I can see. Few of you are like, this is voodoo. This one takes a while, so if it's not making sense, don't worry about it too much. Just store it in the back of your head, and when you start getting a good kinesthetic sense of your sword, say, come to me or Bohemian. I'm sure I know our team can do this. Martino is really good at it if you get a chance to work with him. And say, okay, I think I'm ready for that moving the balance point thing.
What can, it seems like you can't say no to this question, but I would ask it. Can you change the construction to leverage this?
Of your sword, you mean?
Yeah. It seems like my basket seems really heavy and seems to be fighting the whole process.
I actually find a heavy basket hilt makes this process easier, but I know the sword that has that where you can see my hands. So one of the most important things to be able to do this sort of fine-grained control of the sword is having a hand-shaped handle. If you hold your hand out and you look inside it, it's not a tube, it's an egg. The inside of your hand looks like an egg. The tube of your sword should look something like an egg. Then everything will be natural with the grip.
Somebody told me that once.
I don't know. Who told you that?
I don't know.
So this allows you to move your hand very naturally to take advantage of this. And with that little ring for your thumb and forefinger, it allows you to rotate around. And so this is what allows me to throw shots, these little weird shots that I will throw where I'll, for instance, come, and instead of throwing an actual moulinet, I'll throw something where I'm coming this direction and drop it off there. And the trick to it is, if you can rotate your sword in any direction around the balance point, well, every blow, this is where it really gets to be voodoo. That part was just to get a feel for what your sword can do. There's no huge value to doing this because your opponent goes, ooh, look, he knows where the balance point is. But every blow that you throw will at one point go through a point, for a lot of blows it's right about there, where if time froze, your sword can move in any direction, right? It's at what I call the zero balance point. The natural motion of your blow is such that if it weren't for momentum, your sword could move in any direction. So let's start with just a slot chuck. It's the easiest one to feel with. When you get to right there, you feel where your sword feels like a strong gust of wind and it will blow off to the side, right? Do it nice and slow so you can feel it. When you come to that zero balance point, you can change your blow for almost no energy cost. Yeah? Good. All right? So you feel that here. So I'm here. Where do you want me to go?
Anywhere you want.
Right? I can go anywhere from here.
Here?
Yep. Right there. And I can just take my pinky, grab my sword, pull, and that's enough to switch directions to go down there. I can take my my arm, push it to break, and go in here. I can take my thumb and forefinger and pull this way to bring it around under my opponent's defense. So when you are at that balance point, that zero balance point, anywhere you want to go, for almost no energy. A little push, a little pull. That's it. For a snap, or for a slot, it's easy to feel. So we'll start with that one. Get with your opponent, start by throwing a slot, and when you come to that point, and you know where it is now, right? You don't even have to slow down to feel it. When you come to that point, do something and change where it's going. When you come to that point, do something and change where it's going. What do you have to do? It doesn't really matter, because it takes so little energy. Right? If you're got enough of a big mouth, blow on it. And just change the direction of the shot. Because you can go anywhere when you're in that spot.